Hey everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Nordavind. I've changed up the format ever so slightly on this one and I have added some statistics as well. I know people are a big fan of stats and it helps add to the story. But overall the energy is pretty similar to the Mao's NXT video. Let me know what you think, leave a comment. As always, a like and a sub is always appreciated, but I definitely want to know if you guys like the way that I've used statistics in this one. Either way, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I think I'm going to speed through the lineup a little bit faster this time because these players are a bit more well-known on the Nordavind side of things. First up then is Sabit Mirbit Koktasar, 24 years old, and he will be the team's IGL. Next is Daniel Mertz, 22 years old, and he is the AWPer. Third is Jesper Tenzski Plowman, 27 years old. He will fulfill the lurking role on certain maps. Alongside him comes Kevin HS Tarn, 24 years old, and will also fulfill the lurking role on certain maps. As far as I'm aware, those two players will swap those roles and then go as the sort of second entry when they're not lurking. Finally, we have Anton Supra Cernobai. He's 19 years of age. He will play the entry on T side and is their solid CT side anchor. On that note, a lot has changed within this team recently. Mix has come in as the coach in the past month and therefore has shifted things around a little bit. Those roles that I've just gone over, not necessarily the case a couple months ago. With these shifts, they now very heavily play around Mertz. Makes a lot of sense for Europa. He is also, I think, the best player on this team, and therefore you need to give him a lot of attention. But they still most certainly have players capable of bringing the heat. With that said, folks, let's have a look at our first player. So Mirbit, I think, started to catch attention when he joined Sprout in early 2019. He and Searson at the same time, rounding out the full German roster again for Sprout. And as you can see, it's where he started to find his consistency. He was definitely more of a supportive element for that lineup, and he learned a lot of lessons, it is clear to see, from the in-game leading prowess of Spiddy. However, it is the time post-Sprout that feels kind of strange. He played for the Windigo project for a month, then moved to Alternate Attacks for just under a year. In the summer of 2020, they did manage to win a Malta Vibes Cup and come 3rd, 4th in their defense of said cup, but other than that, not an awful lot to speak about. Mix has told me that even with his guidance, it is still a relatively individualistic space. However, with said coach coming in, with Mirbit taking a slightly sterner hand, you can see that the results are starting to improve. Mertz is a player with a really interesting past, in my opinion. I think he first gets noticed when he gets called up to the North team in February 2018. Only played there for about 6 months. Struggled to find consistency with them. They did, however, win a tournament, the DreamHack Open Tours 2018, but this was definitely the time that the North squad was taking a turn for the worst. Then he moved across to Heroic, a team that at the time I think was still finding its identity, still finding its way to approach the game, and again, same kind of issues. That consistency that he was not able to find with North plagued him in Heroic. He played there between August 2018 and May 2019. The problem after leaving Heroic, especially for a Danish player, is where do you go now? There's not necessarily a 4th best organization that has the same kind of prospects as those aforementioned teams. And then at the start of 2021, he's left in limbo. He joined Nordavind in February 2021, and of course the big question, will he last at this organization? To very quickly answer my own question, I think he will. It's looking good at the moment. They have hit a roadblock, that much is evident. I'll include all the stats here, I think, but you can see the green is much more prominent within Nordavind. He needs to get back to this consistency. The more recent games have been a little poorer from Mertz, so hopefully it's not a sign of bad things to come, and it is just a few fluky games. Tenzski is a player that feels like he's been around forever. He's got HLTV games from 2012 and has played for a number of organizations that you'll recognize: SK, Dignitas, Rogue, Imperial, Alternate Attacks, and of course now coming back to Nordavind with a brief stint in existence at the tail end of 2020. Now this guy is actually mad consistent, considering the amount of years that he's been playing. On average, he's been hitting a flat 1 HLTV rating every single year, I would say. And honestly, I think that's the way this guy approaches the game. He consistently finds 1 or 2 kills every round. Every now and then he'll get a 4K out of nowhere, but for the most part, you can expect him to be in the middle of the pack, and very rarely does he underperform. HS is a player that I think has an incredibly deceiving backstory. In 2015 and 2016, HS looked pretty unstoppable at the level he was playing at. Then when he got moved up ever so slightly into your Penta and later Optic, he didn't hit the same kind of level. There's a couple things to consider for HS. At one time, he was one of the hottest prospects in Counter-Strike. Absolutely. The flashes of that potential that we saw were incredible. He could take over a game plus 20, plus 25. Really, really unbelievable stuff. I also feel like he's been kind of unlucky. I don't want to patronize him, but some of these rosters crumbled, some of the organizations pulled out or took the team in a different direction. All these things I think are difficult to deal with for a player of any age, of any caliber. He's also had to reinvent himself many, many times, from being a star player to an entry to now lurking for Nordavind. Patronizing though it sounds, it's certainly not been an easy ride for HS. He does, however, have the innate ability to just pull out these absolutely insane rounds out of nowhere, and multiple times in recent games he has bailed Nordavind out of some dire situations. At the same time, he can be his own worst enemy. Take a look at this. I'll be honest, I don't like pointing the finger at individuals, but I think the results speak for themselves here, and the key thing is, this is a playoff game, and HS not only cracked under the pressure, he completely disappeared. I don't know him personally, so this is just conjecture, but I would imagine the stakes of this game just got to him. But when he is playing well, this guy walks on water. It is absolutely insane to watch him take over a game. Supra's another kind of difficult one, really, because obviously he's only played for Gambit Youngsters, at least on HLTV, right, being so young. And they were on, I think it was like a 30 best of 3 win streak around the time that he got removed. And it's not like he was necessarily performing poorly, but they needed someone with top-level experience. If they were going to start pushing for bigger events and playing against bigger and better teams, they really needed someone to help them with that journey. And you look at where Gambit's at now, and you can't really fault the thought process behind that. Still a difficult place for Supra to be in at the end of summer 2020. Spent a little bit of time playing FPL, and now he finds himself in this Nordavind project. As I've mentioned prior, Mix changed some of the roles when he came into this team, and one of them was Supra. Supra going entry. And although he is not the flashiest or most destructive entry at his level of the game, he creates space so damn well. And on the CT side, he's your anchor, he's your role player, he will play the difficult spots that nobody likes playing, and he plays them pretty well. Alright, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very, very much for watching. As always, your continued support is appreciated. Once again, let me know how you like the slight change in statistics, whether you want me to go deeper into those perhaps, or stick with them as they are. But of course, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.